Intern and Jay Stevens, watching documentaries so you don't have to. 104.7 The Cave.
Hello and welcome to another riveting edition of Dark Side of the Stream. I'm Mike the Intern, and this is not Jay Stevens, it's Magic Tyler.
Magic Tyler.
So for years, I've wanted to take this podcast in a different direction and not completely abandon doing documentaries, but I feel like we're doing ourselves a disservice when it comes to the fact that we don't ever discuss film.
Right.
I'm a film guy.
Yeah.
I know you're a film guy.
Yeah.
Jay Stevens is not a film guy.
No.
I don't know why.
I don't know.
I think he just does not like to face the truth.
Yeah.
I think anything, which is weird because maybe he doesn't like to look at himself, and film evokes a bunch of emotions inside of him that he doesn't want to face.
Because I feel like there's tons of films Jay would love.
I don't understand it.
Based on the documentaries that he likes,
That's what you would think.
you'd think there's tons of movies he'd like.
Not that guy.
I feel like he'd be a big alien movie guy. As much as he is into
Sci-fi.
aliens and all that, I feel like he'd love it.
I don't understand it. But with that being said, I decided that since this week is Halloween, we should flip the script a little bit. And since Jay doesn't want to do these about film, screw Jay. I asked Magic Tyler to watch a movie he's never watched before. One of my favorite movies of all time, 1978's Dawn of the Dead, directed by George R. Romero and also Dario Argento. We'll get into that in a second. But Tyler had never seen this movie, and so I made him watch the film.
Yes.
What'd you think?
I liked it a lot. I think I liked it a lot more than I thought I was going to.
It gets
And what was really cool about it was, so like one of my favorite TV shows is The Walking Dead, and I could see tons of influence from that movie
1,000%.
onto that show.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Which was really cool.
What's crazy about Romero is that he never uses the word zombie.
I noticed
They're
that,
ghouls.
and that's what I was waiting for. I was waiting
Not
for
one
zombie to
time.
be
Night of the
used.
Living Dead doesn't. Dawn of the Dead doesn't. Day of the Dead doesn't. We'll make you watch Day of the Dead. Day of the Dead's great too.
You notice a lot of these movies don't use the word zombies.
No. Do they in 28 Days Later?
I don't think so.
remember. I don't think so
they use
either.
the word zombies. They may use the word infected.
Yeah. Did Walking Dead?
The comic books they did.
Yeah, but
but
in
not the TV show. No.
Huh. Anyway, he gave his review early. We'll talk more about this in our Halloween edition, Dark Side of the Stream. It's Dawn of the Dead on 104.7 The Cave. 104.7 The Cave, Mike the Intern, Magic Tyler in the studio this morning. It is Dark Side of the Stream, episode 252 this week. We flipped the script and decided, you know what? We're going to do an actual movie, and since it is Halloween, I decided to pick one of my favorite horror movies of all time, Dawn of the Dead, which, by the way, my sister gave me a signed film poster of Dawn of the Dead with every single cast member signed on that. Even the nurse zombie, helicopter zombie gets his head chopped off. Everybody. It's probably one of my most prized possessions, Laura. Love you. Thank you. Anyway, I love this movie. I want to say I was probably 12 or 13 years old, and one of my best friends in Cape, Jim Lentz, was a massive horror movie guy. Like, just massive. I mean, I liked horror movies, but I wasn't like at that age. You know what I mean? How far can you go, right? Well, he was way into it and had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of films on DVD. Then this was one of them, and he asked me if I'd ever seen it, and I was like, no. And that night, it grabbed me. I'm a big fan of like post-apocalyptic movies like that, you know, and I feel like in the beginning of this movie, they do such a good job of making you feel the breakdown of society, right? You work at a TV studio, right? And that first act is in that TV studio. That's pretty much how it would go down.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have that many people in there these days.
Right, not these days.
Like 50
But,
people working that studio.
yeah.
Now it's like 3 dudes and then the anchor, but maybe even not even that. But yeah, you get that feeling.
Yeah, it pretty much. It starts off. I didn't expect it to start off like in the
Like
middle of
straight up,
it.
yeah, like this is going down and we're-
because
yeah.
again, I went into this knowing nothing about this movie. I expected it maybe to gradually get like the apocalypse starting. But no, it's like
It's a
right in the middle.
continuation of the events that started in Night of the Living Dead. Have you ever seen Night of the Living Dead?
Not seen that. No. Not seen that.
This kid studied film
I did.
at a major college in the United States of Missouri, and he's still not seen Night of the Living Dead.
Not seen
Let me
that.
tell you, George R. Romero is an incredibly interesting dude. He's got some incredible films, but he worked on the crew for Mr. Rogers in Philadelphia, where they shot that for PBS, right? So a lot of the first film, the Night of the Living Dead, was shot with the crew from Mr. Rogers in PA. They had like local guys and people that got involved with the film, and so I love when creators are able to take nothing and make something out of it. Like you're handed a deck of cards, or you're handed and you got to figure out, okay, this is the limit in which I have to work, so I have to make it look good in this limit. Mm-hmm. You got to watch Night of the Living Dead. What the hell is wrong
That's
with
the next
you?
one. That's the
Well,
next
then
one.
of course I would have made you watch that one first. I thought everyone saw that movie.
I've never seen
Dude,
it.
You got to watch it. It's like you got to watch
All right,
it.
all right, I'll watch
I mean,
it.
it's free.
I'll watch it.
The copyright on it expired, so you can watch it for free anywhere. I will talk about this next, but speaking of copyright, how insanely difficult it is to get a copy of this film next. Dark Side of the Stream on 104.7 The Cave. Magic Tyler, Mike the Intern, back in the studio. It is Dark Side of the Stream episode 251. This week we did Dawn of the Dead, 1978. I made Tyler watch it because he'd never seen it. I mentioned in the last break that as far as copyright goes, as far as worldwide, the copyright's owned by a company, or I think, or something like that. But in the United States, one guy owns film rights to this. So it is insanely difficult to get. If you see a showing in a theater, it's usually the print. You should go see it because it's awesome. They did one a couple years ago. I took Michi to. We were the only two people in the theater, and it was awesome. You could see the blue paint on the zombies' faces where it ended. That's how great it looked. Second Sight Films, who does a lot of horror repressing, like of cult horror stuff in the UK, they did a 35 millimeter transfer to 4K, and they did the 3 cuts. The first cut is the Romero cut, which is the Kames presentation, and it's longer. It doesn't have any of the Goblin soundtrack in it. It's more character driven. It's not as gory. It's more of a character arc piece, and these basically following these individuals and their life throughout this extraordinary circumstance. You know what I mean? And I think that's what Romero is trying to get across.
Yeah.
In comes Argento, who works with him on the film, and Argento is extremely gory, also more influenced by color. So that bright red blood and all that stuff, that was on purpose because that's Argento's touch and saying, like, look, this needs this. The second cut on that box that Second Sight did is the Argento cut, and that cut is my personal favorite for 2 reasons. One, I think the horror lean is probably the better angle, even though the character arcs are really good. But 2, the soundtrack that Goblin does for that movie, the dong dong dong. The one I showed you, I think, is the extended cut.
Probably, yeah, I think so.
That's got all the Goblin stuff in it. But that soundtrack is just. Did it not freak you out or what?
Yeah, I was. The main thing I wanted to bring up was the music
Really?
in the movie
Really?
that I wanted to talk about the most.
Okay.
It was just different, and it especially at the end where it almost played like it was like a weird type of music. It wasn't like what they were playing before,
It kind
where
of
it was the ominous music.
became like carnival kind of
Yeah,
funny.
yeah.
But I think that in itself is how the movie comes full circle for where it ends, and you got at the end all these bikers that are raiding the mall that you did everything you could to protect and become your place of sanctuary. They come in one evening and destroy everything, and at the end they're like hitting each other and with pies,
Exactly.
hitting zombies and pies. That actually wasn't meant to be in the movie. It wasn't in the screenplay. They just, like, Savini, who did the he's the biker that has the comb. Do you remember that guy who combs out his mustache? That's Tom. He's the one who did all the special effects on the film.
Gotcha.
And him and the crew were screwing around when they were shooting that piece and just decided just to film around on motorcycles in a mall and hitting each other in the face with pies. And Romero thought it was great and just kept it in. That mall that they used is a real mall in PA. I don't know if it's still there. They had to film 11P to 7A every night until like November, where all the shop owners, because most of the shop owners knew that something was going on, they just didn't know what. It was like, use this, but don't mess with anything, right? Christmas is coming, right? So all the shops start putting Christmas decorations, so Romero had to cut filming through the holidays until they went back to January, which I always thought was interesting. The music is incredible. I actually have, not to toot my own horn, an Italian press of the soundtrack on vinyl. Les Zombie or Zombie, whatever it's called. But yeah, the Goblin soundtrack for that. I would also strongly suggest, if you liked it, like the soundtrack and like the visuals, the color usage and all that stuff that Argento's known for, definitely watch Suspiria. The first one. The remake is phenomenal. I thought the remake was great, but you need to watch Suspiria. So, Night of the Living Dead and Suspiria. Have you ever seen The Thing?
A long time ago.
Jesus.
A long time ago. Because I love Kurt Russell, and I wanted to watch that.
We'll be back. Dark Side of the Stream on 104.7 The Cave. Magic Tyler, Mike, the intern, back in the studio one more time. It's Dark Side of the Stream, episode 252. This week we did an actual movie, Dawn of the Dead 1978, which, of course, you can watch for free on YouTube because I went through it. Nobody owns the rights. Well, somebody does, but it's just one guy, so he's not going to fight you.
I read a bit about people explaining this movie is a perfect example of the importance of physical media. Just because it is so hard to find and get a hold of.
My Second Sight box, I waited for years for that to happen, because the only way I could watch it was on YouTube, just like you. And then when they announced it, this was probably 3 or 4 years ago, it still took me almost a year through import and tariff issues to like get it to the United States, because it's not technically supposed to be sold here. So I just had to just pay $80 and pray that it'd make it. You're absolutely right. On that note, there is no CGI in this film. It's all practical, all effects, makeup, all that stuff, which is awesome.
Like, my favorite part of the movie was at the end where one of the biker guys is checking his blood pressure.
Why does he go there?
I don't understand it. It was so weird.
And the guy, and even his buddy's like, "Why are you messing with that thing?" And he just goes back.
Then he comes back and dies.
Like, no, I got it. No, I got to check my blood pressure. I really don't understand.
There were some wacky things.
And again, I don't know if it's the character part of this, or just to show that at a certain level, even though we claim that we were better and smarter than the zombies, we still ended up resorting to being the same way they were acting. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Would make sense to us. It would explain why that biker would go back to the blood pressure machine.
Right.
Which, do they even have those in stores anymore?
No.
I think Walmart does.
I've never. Yeah.
Do you ever, you're too young to ever have to stick your arm in one of those. When I was a kid, I thought it was awesome. When I was like 8 or 9, I'd go to every shopping mall, every grocery store, pharmacy, they all had one, and I'd go sit in it and squeeze on your arm. I thought it was awesome. It's kind of stupid, though.
Well, I found it a little interesting that the zombies in the movie aren't necessarily, they're not like totally like brain dead, because they're able to grab things.
They grab tools.
They grab guns. I mean, they don't necessarily know how to use them, but they're grabbing them. Yeah. They do use like the tool to break into the window through the semi-truck. And there's at least to a degree some smart.
Because in Night of the Living Dead, there are scenes in which the ghouls pick up things to use as tools and use it. And you can almost see like there's recognition, and then I'm going to do this with this club or whatever. Yeah. But then Dawn of the Dead, there's still that recognition, but it's dumbed down. Like they still don't, like the motor skills or the recognition is down even further.
They get worse as they are a little longer.
By Day of the Dead, they're trying to like figure out if they. I don't want to ruin it for you.
There's a third one.
Yeah, Day of the Dead.
Oh my goodness,
it's great. Do you remember? You know the Gorillaz album, the first Gorillaz album? You ever listened to that?
No.
There's a song on there called M1A1, and it's at the beginning is the soundtrack for Dawn of the Dead. Doom 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 doom. Hello. Yeah, so good. Such a great movie. Day is great. Do
you have a favorite character from this movie?
I mean,
out of the main four.
it's so I know the script so well. Like I still like to this day, like if my wife or someone says like something or worried about something, I always go, don't you worry about it. I got, like the way he responds in the truck after he gets bit. I still say stuff like that. Also, there are. It's funny that you bring this up because in the I think it's the Argento cut. That whole scene where they're at the helicopter pad at the police substation, the Flyboys, that's where they meet his buddy and the police or the state trooper or whatever.
Yeah.
And then the dude that he meets at the house and they get in the helicopter and leave. There's that scene where they meet the thugs all dressed up as cops.
Yeah.
And there's that guy and he's like, the whole time, can I get a cigarette? Can I get a cigarette? It's like so unnecessary. And they're like, he's like, we're gonna try and make it to the island, and you're like, what island? And he's like, any island. And then he's like, where y'all headed? And he's like, straight up. And he makes this so stupid, like, oh, like there's so many elements of that in the movie where it's just like, that's why I think I love it so much, is because it's not too serious in what it thinks it should be. It just is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think when you get something like that that's organic, that it translates, at least to me. I'm big on that stuff. So anyway, happy Halloween, Tyler. I'm glad you got the chance to finally watch Dawn of the Dead 1978.
Good.
It's free on YouTube. Do it.
It was good.
What else is free is Night of the Living Dead, which Tyler's going to watch next. I'm going to make sure he does that. And then Suspiria, which might give him nightmares. As always, we'll be back next week. Jay and I are discussing
Charlie Sheen.
Oh God, I got to watch that still. That's going to be horrible.
Yes, Charlie Sheen.
Horrible. But there is another documentary that I read about this morning about a washed up ton of cocaine that ended up on an island in the Azores, and it made the entire island just like super addicted to blow in like the early 2000s, which I can't wait to watch.
Jay would love that.
Oh yeah,
one.
it's like Jay's favorite, which this blows my mind. Anyway, as always, we do this on Facebook 9 a.m. or YouTube, same time live. Download as a podcast for free on our 104.7 The Cave app, or listen to us do this every Thursday 9 a.m. Dark Side of the Stream. I'm Mike the Intern.
Magic Tyler.
And we watch movies.
Documentaries.
So you don't have to. It's Dark Side of the Stream on 104.7 The Cave.